Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in consciousness, take a breath with me, inhale deeply, and exhale slowly. Now I want to invite you, not to listen just with your ears, but with your heart, with your awareness. Today, we open the sacred space within us for a prayer, not the kind of prayer that begs or pleads, but one that aligns, that connects. A prayer that doesn't rise from fear, but from power, from trust, from an inner knowing. A prayer for faith and trust in God. Let's begin by understanding something fundamental. You are not separate from the divine. God is not distant. God is not watching from above. God is within, encoded in your biology, wired into your nervous system, vibrating through your heart. Every cell in your body carries the potential for divine connection. Faith is not blind belief. It's not hoping that something will work out while fearing that it won't. Faith is neurological. Faith is chemical. Faith is energetic. When you hold faith, your brain fires in coherence, your heart enters harmony, your energy becomes ordered, and in that order you become a magnet for miracles. Trust is not passive. It is not waiting. Trust is surrendering the need to control and stepping into alignment with a force so intelligent, so loving, so orchestrated, that even when you don't understand what's happening, you know you're being guided. So here is our prayer, not to a God far away, but to the infinite presence that lives and breathes through us. Divine Creator, I surrender my resistance, my doubt, my fear. I open myself to the unseen intelligence that is always orchestrating my highest good. Help me step beyond my old programs, beyond my memories, my patterns, my pain. Rewire my brain to believe in what I cannot yet see. Restore my heart to feel what is real beyond this dimension. Let every cell in my body remember you. Let my being vibrate with trust. I choose now to walk by faith, not by sight. I choose to feel the answer before it arrives. I choose to be the person who already trusts, already believes, already knows. You are here. You are now, you are me. This is not just prayer. It's transformation. When you truly enter the frequency of faith, you change your chemistry. When you embody trust, you attract synchronicity. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. So today, decide to be the version of you who is no longer waiting, who no longer needs proof before believing, because that's not how miracles happen. Miracles are drawn to coherence, to gratitude, to love, to surrender, and when you step into that place, when you pray as if it's already done and live as if it's already here, then faith becomes knowing, and trust becomes your way of life. Breathe that in. You are not separate from the divine. This truth is not simply philosophical or spiritual. It is foundational to how we live, think, and feel. From the moment we wake up in the morning, our perception of ourselves shapes our reality. If we believe we are isolated individuals, cut off from the source of creation, then we will naturally approach life with fear, competition, and scarcity. But when we begin to understand that the same intelligence that orchestrates the stars, spins the planets, and causes the heart to beat, is the very same force animating our lives from within, something powerful begins to shift. Science is catching up to what mystics have known for millennia. Our bodies are electromagnetic fields, constantly interacting with a greater field of intelligence. Every thought, every emotion, every intention we hold communicates with this field. And this field, this divine presence, is not far away judging or testing us. It is here, it is now, it is in every breath we take. It flows through our nervous system, it moves through our cells, it beats with our hearts. When you pray, meditate, or enter a state of deep gratitude, you are not reaching out into the void hoping for a response. You are tuning into the frequency of what already exists within you. The divine is not something to acquire. It is something to remember. It is a state of being that has always been part of you, before your doubts, before your fears, before your stories of limitation. To truly embrace the idea that you are not separate from God is to begin dissolving the illusion of lack and disconnection. It is to recognize that the power you seek is already inside you, waiting not to be found but to be acknowledged. Faith is a neurological, chemical, and energetic state. It is not simply an emotional feeling or a belief we hold in our minds. It is an entire internal environment that we create within our bodies. When you feel true faith, your brain moves into coherence, your heart rate becomes balanced, and your body chemistry shifts toward healing and vitality. Faith is not blind hope. It is a measurable, experiential shift in your physiology that begins with thought, becomes emotion, and radiates as energy. When a person enters a deep state of faith, believing in a future that has not yet been made manifest, the brain doesn't distinguish it from a reality that has already occurred. The same neural circuits fire. The same chemical messengers move through the bloodstream. The same genes begin to express in alignment with the elevated emotion. In this way, faith becomes a rehearsal for the future. You are training your body to live in a new reality before it has shown up in your environment. This kind of faith is powerful because it bypasses the limited, analytical mind. It reaches into the subconscious programming that governs most of your behavior. By creating repeated, coherent experiences of faith through meditation, visualization, and intentional emotion, you begin to recondition the body to a new mind. This is where change becomes possible, not from willpower alone, but from energetic alignment. The frequency of faith carries a signature that is elevated, ordered, and magnetic. When you dwell in that frequency long enough, you become the living signal of your prayer. You are no longer hoping for a breakthrough. You are embodying the vibration of someone who has already received. This is not theory. It is biology, physics, and spirit converging into one powerful expression of divine trust in action. Trust is active surrender, not passive waiting. It is not the absence of action, nor is it a resignation to fate. True trust is a powerful, conscious decision to release control while remaining fully engaged with the present moment. It means letting go of the obsessive need to predict, manipulate, or force outcomes, and instead aligning with a deeper intelligence that knows far more than the thinking mind ever could. In this way, trust becomes a living dynamic between your inner world and the greater field of possibility that surrounds you. When we try to control everything, we operate from survival. The brain becomes chaotic, the body tenses, and energy contracts. In that state, the body is preparing for threat, not creation. But when we trust, truly trust, we shift from the survival mode into a creative one. The brain waves slow down, the heart rhythms become smooth. The nervous system begins to rest. This inner shift allows the body to become a vessel for intuition, inspiration, and divine timing. Trust requires courage. It demands that we release old stories of disappointment and fear. It means choosing not to be defined by the past, even when the evidence seems overwhelming. It means being willing to walk into the unknown with a steady heart, even when the outcome is unclear. This is not passivity. It is precision. It is the art of allowing while still showing up in integrity, in alignment, in intention. Energetically, trust is expansive. It opens the field. It sends a signal into the quantum that says, I believe in something greater. I know I am supported. This signal becomes a beacon, drawing to you the people, circumstances, and synchronicities that match that level of coherence. Trust is the internal environment that makes space for divine orchestration to unfold. God is within, encoded in your biology. This idea is not metaphorical. It's a literal truth reflected in the intricate intelligence of your body and the field of consciousness that animates it. Every heartbeat, every breath, every cell functioning in harmony is a sign of the divine presence expressing itself through you. The same intelligence that causes a seed to grow into a tree, that orchestrates galaxies and regulates the tides, also guides the processes of your own body with astonishing precision and elegance. Your DNA holds not just genetic information, but energetic potential. The trillions of cells that make up your being are not operating independently. They are part of an intelligent system, a network of communication that responds to your thoughts, your emotions, and your level of awareness. When you live in alignment with love, gratitude, and truth, this system becomes coherent. That coherence is the signature of divinity expressed through physiology. The human brain and heart are not just organs, they are receivers and transmitters. The heart, in particular, generates an electromagnetic field measurable several feet beyond the body. This field changes depending on your emotional state and becomes most organized when you are in a state of inner harmony. That order is the evidence of the divine working through your nervous system, creating patterns of healing, growth, and expansion. When you realize that God is not somewhere out there but intimately present within the structure of your own being, you stop seeking externally for what can only be found internally. You begin to speak with the intelligence inside you. You begin to trust your inner signals, your intuition, your inspiration. The divine doesn't just dwell in sacred books or holy places. It dwells in your cells, your breath, your awareness, waiting to be awakened through your recognition of it. Prayer is alignment, not pleading. It is not an act of desperation, but an act of connection, a tuning of your inner world to the frequency of divine intelligence. When most people think of prayer, they imagine speaking words into the silence, hoping for intervention from a higher power. But the deeper reality is that true prayer is a state of being, a shift in consciousness where you no longer ask for something from outside yourself, but instead become the expression of what you seek. In this elevated state, prayer becomes less about the words you say and more about the energy you embody. It's not about convincing God to act on your behalf. It's about aligning yourself with the wisdom, love, and power that already exist within you. This alignment brings your thoughts, emotions, and biology into coherence. Your brain moves into balance, your heart opens, and your body responds with a sense of peace and flow. When you pray from a place of wholeness, you are no longer praying for healing. You are praying as someone already healed. You are no longer praying for abundance. You are entering the emotional frequency of someone who knows abundance as their natural state. This is what changes your vibration and, in turn, shifts the reality around you. Your emotional state during prayer is a signal. That signal interacts with the larger field of energy that connects all things. When the signal is clear, elevated, and consistent, it begins to draw experiences that match its frequency. This is why the most powerful prayers are often silent, filled not with words, but with deep feeling, gratitude, and certainty. It's in that stillness, that intentional space, where prayer becomes a communion, a merging of your human essence with divine consciousness. Miracles are drawn to coherence and gratitude. In the natural world, coherence is the language of harmony, order, and intelligence. It is present in the structure of galaxies, in the rhythm of the oceans, and in the precise functioning of the human body. When your internal environment, your thoughts, emotions, and energy, becomes coherent, you step into that same universal rhythm. This is when the field responds. This is when transformation begins to unfold, not by force, but by resonance. Coherence means your heart and brain are in sync. Your nervous system is no longer reacting from fear or stress, but operating from a place of safety, clarity, and connection. In this state, you are no longer fragmented or divided within yourself. You become energetically aligned, and this alignment creates a magnetic field that extends beyond your body, communicating with the larger field of consciousness that holds all potential. Gratitude amplifies this coherence. It is one of the most elevated emotional states you can experience because it implies the outcome is already received. When you feel grateful before the physical evidence appears, you are signaling to the universe that you are already living in the reality you desire. This is not just spiritual philosophy, it's a biological event. The body begins to respond as if the future is happening now, activating neural circuits and chemical pathways that match the desired outcome. This combination of emotional elevation and energetic order is what draws miracles into your life. Not miracles as random gifts, but as natural results of alignment with a greater intelligence. Incoherence blocks the flow, fear, doubt, and stress scatter your energy. But the moment you return to coherence and live in the feeling of gratitude, you become the vessel through which the extraordinary becomes possible, and the unseen becomes real. The universe responds to who you are being. It does not simply react to what you say you want or what you wish for in moments of frustration or longing. It responds to your state of consciousness, your energy, your intentions, your emotional patterns, and the identity you embody day after day. This means that lasting change is not about manipulating external conditions, but about transforming your internal state until your outer world begins to mirror it back to you. Who you are being is the total sum of your beliefs, feelings, thoughts, and actions. If you say you want abundance but live in a mindset of lack, the signal you're broadcasting into the field is one of scarcity. If you ask for healing but constantly identify with the illness, the energy you emit is still rooted in limitation. Field doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your vibration, and your vibration is shaped by the emotional signature you carry from moment to moment. When you begin to consciously shift your state, to live in gratitude before the gift arrives, to embody love even in the absence of perfect conditions, to feel joy without a reason, you begin to step into the creative role you were designed for. In this state, your frequency changes, and that change is what begins to magnetize new possibilities to you. You are no longer reacting to life, you are creating it from the inside out. Being is deeper than doing. It's the invisible blueprint that determines the visible outcomes. The more consistently you align your inner state with the life you desire, the more predictable the results become. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are unified with the reality you seek, the universe recognizes you as the one already living in it and begins to respond accordingly. Transformation begins beyond old mental patterns. True change cannot occur while you remain anchored to the same thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that created your current reality. The brain is a record of the past, wired by experiences, conditioned by repetition, and often trapped in loops of survival thinking. To step into a new reality, you must first step beyond the predictable patterns that have defined who you believe you are. Your identity is shaped by memory. Every time you think the same thought, feel the same emotion, or react in the same way, you reinforce a neurological pathway in the brain. These patterns become so familiar that they start to feel like truth. But they are not truth. They are habits. And transformation requires breaking the addiction to the known and stepping into the unfamiliar, where possibility exists. This unfamiliar territory is uncomfortable because it demands presence. It asks you to become aware of your thoughts rather than be driven by them, to observe your emotional triggers instead of acting from them, and to choose responses that align with your future rather than your past. When you do this, you begin to rewire your brain, you fire new circuits, you create new emotional signatures, you start to condition your body to a new mind. The field of transformation is not accessed through effort alone. It is accessed through awareness and intention. You are not trying to fix the old self, you are creating a new one. And to do that, you must leave behind the story that says you are your pain, your history, or your limitations. When you begin to live from a vision of the future instead of a memory of the past, you step into the unknown, where true change and divine guidance become possible. Believe before the evidence appears. This concept challenges the common notion that we must see things before we believe in them. In reality, it is your belief that creates the conditions for what you want to manifest. If you are waiting for external proof before you choose to believe, you are caught in a cycle of dependence on the physical world to dictate your inner state. But true creation happens the other way around. Your internal state must first align with the desired reality for it to materialize in the physical world. When you believe before the evidence arrives, you shift from the limited perception of reality to one of possibility. This belief is not a mere wish or hope. It is a deep, visceral knowing that what you desire is already on its way. In this state, you are energetically aligned with the future reality as if it has already happened. Your thoughts, emotions, and energy start to reflect that future, and in turn, the quantum field responds, bringing circumstances, people, and opportunities that match your belief. This process works because the brain does not differentiate between an experience that is happening in the present moment and one that is vividly imagined. When you create a future vision and emotionally engage with it, your brain begins to live in that future. This, in turn, shifts your energy and your physiology. The more you embody the feeling of the outcome before it arrives, the more you condition your mind and body to expect it. By practicing this principle, you start to live in alignment with your desires, and the evidence of your beliefs begins to manifest. You are no longer waiting for the world to give you a sign. You are the one creating the signal, and the universe will respond in kind. Live as if your prayer is already answered, this principle invites you to embody the feeling of your desired outcome in the present moment, even before it materializes in your physical reality. Most people live with the assumption that they must wait for external circumstances to change before they can feel the emotions associated with success, abundance, or healing. However, the key to transformation lies in the ability to step into the experience of the desired reality now, and to act, think, and feel as if it has already been fulfilled. When you begin to live as if your prayer has already been answered, you step into a new energetic frequency. The body begins to align with the emotional state of someone who has already received. This doesn't mean pretending or faking it. It means truly engaging with the feeling of having already achieved your goal. In doing so, you send a powerful signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, and this shifts your energy to a place of attraction rather than waiting. Your emotions are the key here. They are the magnetic force that draws experiences to you. If you feel joy, gratitude, and love as if the prayer has already been answered, you align with the energy that matches your desires. The more you practice this, the more your subconscious mind and body begin to recognize this emotional state as your new norm. The world around you starts to respond, and you notice synchronicities, opportunities, and signs that align with the reality you are already living. Living as if your prayer is answered is not just a mental exercise. It is a shift in being, a recalibration of your entire system to reflect the outcome you desire. As you cultivate this mindset, you create a life that begins to reflect the energy of the prayer already answered.